Welcome to the Related Views podcast with me, your host, Ken, aka Big, and my co-host, Tony, aka Little. Don't forget to hit us up on social media on Instagram at Related Views. If you want to email us, it's relatedviews@gmail.com. And you can also find us on YouTube, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. If you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, and most importantly, tell a friend, spread the word. This week's episode, social media. Tone, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Ken. Very good this week.
Yeah,
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. A little bit later in the week for us, but now I have even more positives to talk about, like a whole bag full of positives. But
Right. It's gonna be the whole episode, just
yeah,
positive.
you know, I
Social media.
I had a really big negative this week too. I'll briefly talk about that, but I have to just keep going with the positive because that's the way we roll over here.
That's right.
Now, weekly positive. What do you got?
So my positive, I've ever since I went skydiving, I've told you I've really kind of turned my life around. I feel that it really, I mentioned it, it woke me up where I for so long wasn't doing the things I loved, and who I am to my core. I've really been, I feel almost lazy and tired with work. So I mean, this week, well, I'll say since that, I've been waking up early, running. I've been eating really good, working out, meditating, stretching. I've been really healthy, getting myself together. Today, just an hour ago, I was in the pool with my divers from this season. I haven't dove. I think I mentioned I was a college diver in like episode 1. I haven't dove in years, and I got up today and I dove. I've been going on hikes, so I guess my weekly positive has been like my week's positive. I've really just been doing the things that were me that I've been putting off, the things that fuel my soul, that give me energy. I'm really an extroverted person, so to get out there, that's where I get my energy from. Oh, I've been going to this concert every Wednesday I used to go to for years, and I haven't gone to in months. Just getting back to me and who I am, and yeah, that's my positive. It's really been beneficial.
It's interesting, usually you hear that from people going through a midlife crisis. This
Yeah.
happens to people, in their 40s or 50s, that they want to, get back to all the things they did when they were younger. You're lucky you figured this out. Maybe, hopefully lucky you figured this out at 31 and not 51.
Yeah.
When your body could still perform, pretty well.
Yeah, I mean it hurts, but my foot hurts from run. I ran 10 miles last week.
Wow.
First time I've ever run 10 miles straight. So I was hurting, but it was good.
Good. They say no pain, no gain, right?
That's right. What do you got for your weekly positive?
It's been a week of a lot of positives. One negative, but a lot of positives. The weather's been nicer. We talked about that already. I got out and played my first 18 holes of golf on Sunday.
Nice.
So that was, and it's I do have to say I needed the winter off. I taped the women's Olympic golf. They were playing it. They were replaying it on ESPN or whatever. So I saw it, and it was probably about 15 hours of it. And I just taped it all. I DVR'd it, and then I went back and I watched it. And it was interesting for me to watch the women play golf because everything they do, and they're unbelievable golfers, but it just seems like it's so easy to them. Like I watch the men, and the men is really like I mean, that club is way up around their head. They're violent swings, I mean, everything is just done at such a high rate of speed, where the women done at such a low, and I was able to learn from it. I mean, we talked about me being a visual learner, and I just kept rewinding, and I just kept watching people hit it, how they were hitting the ball. And I took that in my mind and I went out with it. And I told you I went to the driving range a couple times before I played. And what I learned mentally just watching, I was able to use there, and I used on the course. It was just unbelievable. I hit the ball so much better my first time out on 18 holes than I've hit in my whole life. And I think it was just from learning and watching and just paying attention. Yeah. Yeah.
We in athletics we call that cracking the code. You figured something out. You don't know until you know, but now you
Yep.
know.
Now you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's my little, my superpower. It's gonna be my golf superpower.
Yeah, that was just another notch, and then there's another notch to the next step, and another notch to the next step.
Yeah.
Rung of the ladder, rung of the ladder.
Yeah. So a couple other things. I started a new sports card podcast, and I put my first episode out last week, and it actually, in the process of taping it, um, I think I realized my internet was terrible, and I know we had internet trouble in the past. So I have new internet now. I have a gigablast.
Nice.
I went from 25 to 1,000. I'm like, that's all okay, I want the absolute max, a new company, the absolute max. So, on my end, if we have internet trouble today, it's all on you. It has nothing to do with me.
Blasting gigas over there.
Yeah. And real quickly, one negative of the week, in my sports cards, I sent out, you send cards out for grading to PSA. Yep. And, I go, with my guy, Rob, at Sports Card Therapist, we send our cards together, and I sent them off, like they were my PC cards. They were the cards that were sitting up on my wall here that I would look at that weren't graded. We sent them all the time, but I really found the cards that I liked and really made me feel good. And I was so excited about these cards, and they were all like they're going to be very hard to replace. They were all gold, refractored, numbered, autographed. I mean, it took me months and months and months just to get, these cards that I really wanted. And now they're all gone. So
do you feel kind of, what's the term? Like beaten now, almost like, oh, like now I got to start over.
I looked at it in an opposite way because, and I think maybe my age too, like I've been through losses, like things like this, stolen or lost and things like that at a younger age. And I felt so defeated, like it was
defeated. Yeah, that's the word.
And I looked at it a little differently now. And because in this point of my life, I always say when something like this happens, something better comes from it. Yeah. So I just think it's in my mind. I'm positive, and I'm like, this is a stepping stone. I'm going to maybe find something better. Maybe because this happened, I'm going to go look and find something even better than I already had where I wouldn't have looked for it in the first. Who knows?
You never know how it's going to pan out, but yeah. All right. Well, I guess if you're taking the life lesson today,
they get a double life lesson. One from me at the beginning and one from you at the end, right? Yeah. Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, we should jump into the episode. And it's a little funny we talk about, and these episodes are kind of just rolling into the next because as we talked about childhood last week, right? It was like we could have done a whole. When we get off, we have a chat and we say, "Gee, we could have done a whole other episode leading right into social media." So that's kind of where we run. I mean, each week where we leave off, we try to get
they're all connected.
Yeah. And I have to say this, and I'm going to throw this question out to you first because it's your generation that's like heavily into social media, but you are not. I know this of you. I know you're not. Mm-hmm. And why do you think that is? Why do you think that I'm more involved in social media than you?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just lame, but it's like I don't know. I like what I do. I like what I like. There's a Grateful Dead quote. I love what I love, and I want it that way.
Yep.
Like I don't follow trends, or I had a group of friends who were making fun of me because I still had a Yahoo email. I just finally upgraded to a Gmail. I guess that's the big thing, but I just don't care. Like I find the things I like, and then I manage through the rest of it. Like if I have to do this, I'll do it. But like that's not where I want to put my focus. I feel social media is very fake. I like to show off a little bit on it. Like I'll post, like today I posted diving videos just for my friends. Like, hey, check it out. Like I used to do this thing. I still got it. But, I like the athletic stuff. I like posting that. And that's like the athletic in me, the athlete in me. Just, I like to show off a little. But I don't know. The rest of it, I'm a person who calls my friends up on the phone. On their birthday. I never wrote happy birthday on MySpace when I had one, or Facebook. I mean, I don't even have a Facebook anymore. I don't know. I've never really been into it. I think it's it's fake and it's not personal. I'm a very deep feeling emotional guy, and I like those connections.
Right.
I'm not surface level.
Mm.
I don't know if that sounds so basic to say, but I'm not surface level.
No, it does. I mean, when you think about social media, how it's being used today, so, positive and negatives. It's a lot of pressure. I mean, it's a lot of pressure on kids. It's a lot of pressure on adults. I know even for me, people at my age, I'm a grandparent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's differences from grandparents to parents to kids, like how social media is being used. But I know for myself, I mean, I can say haven't grown up with it, right? Because it's only been, I think Facebook, I should have looked this up, maybe 2006, 2005 is when Facebook actually came out. It was somewhere right around there. Um, and it was a way to connect, like all of a sudden, all these people. But the funny thing was when it first came out, people were putting pictures up, and you're like, oh my God, these people look great. I mean, they haven't looked like they haven't aged from high school. I mean, they look amazing. Right? And I can't tell you how many times like somebody would friend me and I think to myself, wow, they've really aged well. And I would go to the store, I'd go somewhere and somebody'd be like, hey, Ken Cairns. I'd be like, yeah. I mean,
What's up?
my mind is, I have no idea who this is. And all of a sudden I start talking. They're like, oh, you remember me? I'm so and so. I'm like, oh yeah, we just became friends on Facebook. And I'm like, what was that picture you put up? That must have
10
been
years?
yeah. I mean, where did you dig that out of a box? Why wouldn't you put up a picture of who you are today? Just be proud of yourself or happy with yourself. And that was the beginning. I mean, people I mean, it's everything from status to a weapon. I mean, social media being, you think about you and I have these conversations, and you talk about even like Instagram and stuff that people are like posting stuff up, try to get other people's attention.
Yeah.
Like, literally, people will just go out of their way to take a picture of something, right, just to get somebody else's attention. Now, think about, where I was in high school, we didn't have any of this stuff, right? So you would have to be in front of the person or do something in front of that person's best friend in order for that information to get back to that person. Now, all you got to do is like, oh, I'm thinking of so and so. I'm going to take a picture with this girl right here and I'm going to throw it out there. So I'm going to get her jealous. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
it's instant. It's absolutely instant because as soon as you snap that picture and it goes, the person you want to, you get it, they're going to get it. Bling, right? Ding, their
Yep.
phone ding right away. It's going to show up right on their phone. That is to me, that's unbelievable. I couldn't imagine of getting through high school and with that kind of
What a nightmare. Yeah.
our chat rooms were under street lights, right? You'd go out, you'd hang in the neighborhood, you'd sat under their street light, and everybody would gather there every night, and you just sit around and talk. And you always found things to talk about, right? I mean, you never got tired of hanging out with your friends. When we got a little older, we started driving. We'd hang out in the arcade parking lot or the plaza parking lot. We had CBs in our car. I mean, that's how we could find each other. I mean, and I know you grew up. How old were you when you got your first cell phone?
I was in 7th grade and I got it from a friend who he was pretty well off because I went to a private school and he got a new one. He gave it to me and I prepaid minutes. And when I ran out, I just had to wait till I came up with minutes again. I ended up paying for it
Yeah.
until, I don't know, high school. And then my family got a family plan.
And did you use it for texting and communicating
Oh, yeah.
with
Oh,
all
yeah.
your friends and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't very good at it at first. I was a very slow texter. Even like AIM I was on when I was a kid. The instant messenger.
Yeah,
I remember spending hours sitting at the computer waiting for someone to come on.
but that was before Facebook. I mean, AIM
Yeah.
was like the late '90s. That was AOL, which I
Yeah.
think before that was Prodigy.
I
I
don't
mean,
even know.
I can honestly say back in it must have been 1990, right? I was working for a computer company, and I remember getting my first computer, and this guy had come in and he gave me this pad. He said, use all these passwords, I went home, plugged it into my phone line, and I went online and I was telling people like what it was, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. Like, so who is there? Like, are there people there? I'm like, yeah, there are other people there, but you can see information. They're like, but I don't understand. Why would you want to just see other people you don't know? Like, nobody could really get the concept of, yeah, yeah. But then then you would you talked with your friends. It was like the
Yep.
first instant messaging. Yeah, yeah. And I think probably a lot of breakups and a lot of divorces and a lot of things, through the years with all this, with the instant messaging and the
Oh
Facebook.
yeah, being able to reconnect with old girlfriends or
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
Un-
will. I do think, however, since then and over the time, like I was mentioning, I think my generation has really learned to govern themselves. Like I feel when MySpace and Facebook came out, it was a free for all, and people were posting like crazy, like, and then we all started to realize like, okay, this is ridiculous. We all look stupid, and then so
and
everyone,
everybody sees it.
yeah, everyone's kind of switched to Instagram where it's just photos or Snapchat where it's really just like personal friends. I mean, I have limited friends on Snapchat. Like it's my close friends. And that's why I'm like cool with posting stuff up there. It's all friends I went to like college with or, some good work friends. I wouldn't just add anyone like random, So I'm okay with them seeing my stuff. And other than that, that's all I have is Instagram and that one, Snapchat. So
Yeah,
I feel like my generation has come around. We're like, okay, we got to do something. This is getting ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. I always had Facebook. I had a computer business, and way back in the early 2000s, I was making websites for other people, and I made a website for myself, but it just became, to me, it was so much. I didn't have time to be monitoring everything, so I just created a basic website with, hey, you need me, email me, because that worked for me, and I always had Facebook. And it wasn't until just recently with the sports cards that I set up Instagram, and with these podcasts too, that I set up Instagram, and with my Instagram, what I do on there is just a lot of communicating with cards. I mean,
Hmm.
really, my Instagram revolves around. When I first had Instagram, there were other people posting stuff up, and I thought to myself, I really don't need to see this. Like, I don't need to see that this person's working out every day, and here's their workout, and here's their routine, and they're doing backs and legs, and like, honestly, I don't need to know this. So
Yeah, I
I just
don't I don't care.
I turned off notification, and I never really went to look at it. But once the card stuff over the last year with all these trading cards, I've gotten into Instagram pretty deep, and Twitter. I watch Twitter. I get information from Twitter, but I don't tweet. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have a TikTok account. Oh no, I do have a TikTok account. I do. I'm sorry. I do have a tick. And you know what's interesting about those TikTok accounts is once you start watching, you can't stop.
I think
I,
that's the point.
like it just keeps going, just scrolling from another one to another one to another one, and they decide what they think you like, which was really weird. That the strange part is they were kind of right. Like the one night I started looking, and I'm like, well, why would I get this video? And I'm like, but it is interesting, and I just kept watching, watching.
They're listening. How many times have you said something and then all of a sudden there's an ad posted up on Facebook? Like
Yeah,
people talk about that all the time. They're
yeah,
listening.
yeah.
You think you're alone. You're not. They
You
know
know,
you better than you know you.
it's funny as I was getting ready for this episode this week, and I was thinking to myself, and I always said, geez, my life could be like I could write a book of my life, and thinking of this, I said the thing that always came to mind, which to me is very funny, is hysterical, is the best information, right? Always came Monday morning at school, and it was always after a keg party on the weekend, right? So you'd go to a keg party in the woods on a Friday night, or a Saturday night, and whatever happened there. But you really didn't get any information except for unless you were part of what happened. But when you got back to school Monday, that was going viral. That was everybody talking about what
Yeah.
happened, or
The
what
original
happened at this
viral.
party, and how off the hook this party was, and all that other stuff, right? But then by the end of the week, everybody was just talking about the next weekend's party. Nobody even remembered what happened, and if you missed, God forbid, you were out of school on Monday or Tuesday, and you were out of the loop. You had no idea what happened. I always said if I ever wrote a book, there would always have to be at least one keg party, right, in this because as a childhood, I think even the generation before me, I think to the 70s and the 80s and even into the early, I think people still had keg parties. I haven't heard one person mention a keg party in many years.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know if people still have a keg party or if they don't even drink beer anymore, right? Maybe they drinking something else, but yeah.
I don't know. The new generation's weird. They don't like fun stuff.
But I think there's a lot of pressure. I mean,
Yeah.
I really do. I think there's a lot of pressure, and you know, it's interesting where the media, and if you go to a restaurant, right, and you look around, like I see this happen in my own house, and I'll give you a for instance. We're all watching a show the other night, and sometimes I don't hear so well on the TV. When everybody's there, I basically get it, but I could hear better if it was a little louder, but it wasn't so loud. There was 4 other people in the room watching the same show as I was, and it came to this highlight moment, and he turned and said something. It was like, the big dun dun dun, and I was like, oh crap, I missed it. And I looked to my right, and I said, what did he say? And everybody was looking down into a phone. Everybody, and
Yeah.
they all looked up at me and said, what? And I said, what did he say? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, it was the most important part of the episode.
You're missing life. Yeah.
Everybody was looking into a phone. And I was like, this is unbelievable. I can remember, and this is not like it would happen recently, but probably, I'm going back 6, 7, 8 years. I mean, we would go to Sherry's parents' house, and her mother would say, please put the phones away. Like, put the phones away. And I used to think,
you're making me think about just deleting all my accounts again. I've done it in the past.
she'd say, put those phones away. And I'm like, I didn't think it was that bad. But I guess once you look at it and you realize, you go to a restaurant anywhere and you see everybody looking into a phone, and like people sitting across the table from each other looking into a phone. Yeah.
There's so much stimulation for especially the kids going on these days that you never had to deal with growing up. It's got to be so much harder to sift through that and what's important and what's not, and just what matters, what doesn't, and it's got to be so hard. I mean, it's hard for me sometimes, and I'm supposed to be an adult. I can't imagine being a kid. I don't know. Maybe they're better at it because they were born into it.
Yeah. Even as somebody my age, when I go on Facebook and I see people, and I do this, I've done the same thing. I'm not going to point other people out and say I haven't done it. I really don't post a lot on Facebook unless I'm doing something I really like, but I'm doing that because the people around me are happy for me.
Yeah.
Like when I used to go out to Las Vegas every year, and people around me knew I looked forward to this trip all year. Right. So when I was there, I was throw it up there, and people would be like, all right, because I'd come home and tell all my stories about, all the fun things that happen and things like that. But I think it's a lot of pressure for people to try to keep up with other people. Like they see people going on vacations, and then all of a sudden I see other people, they're going on vacations, and I'm thinking to myself, how can these people afford this stuff? Right. But, I just think there's so much pressure for status, like this online, this social media status, because every day I'm seeing posts from people like, maybe you really didn't need to put that up, or I didn't need to see that. But, you understand that it's more of a
You're like fishing for attention and
yeah, or just status.
Yeah.
Just status. And I think at some point people start to get it, and then it starts, they start to put their grandkids and stuff like that up. But nowadays you got to watch what you post, right? I know with my daughter, having my granddaughters, she was like, literally, don't post anything unless I approve it. Don't post anything,
Mm-hmm.
And I understood that. I completely understood that, and I said, look, you post it and I'll share it. And then this way I never have to get in trouble. Right?
Yeah.
But I can't imagine my granddaughters, what it's going to be like. What the social media is going to be like to them now. Is it going to be wearable? I mean, I can't imagine we're going to be holding phones in our hand much longer.
Yeah, you're going to have a chip in your eye or something.
Yeah. Yeah, or some kind
Scary.
of something you put on and you wear, a hat, or, built into a shirt or a sleeve or a glove or something. I can't imagine, we're going to be holding something, even though like we have earpieces and stuff. I can't imagine we're going to be holding something in our hand anymore. I think
Yeah.
it's that
I
part.
I've always thought that the phone was kind of like a magical wand from Harry Potter. Like you got your light, you got this, you can connect with people. It's
Yeah.
like basically the same thing. It's almost magical compared to if you take, when you were a kid, if someone showed you that, you'd be like, "Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is this?"
Well, Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
They used to have that beep beep, they would call Scotty and do whatever
Hmm.
with this little handheld thing, and that ended up just becoming true.
Yeah.
Who knew? Yeah.
It always starts as an idea, and then someone's, "Why not? Why
Yeah.
not?" Everything starts in theory first.
Yeah. One other thing about social media I want to bring up that I think is a big negative part of it, um, is the rumor mill, right?
Mhm.
So, back when I was a kid, if you were in school, if somebody was talking junk about you, to 3 or 4 other people, they'd say, "Hey, so and so said this and that." You could nip that in the butt real quick, right? You could go say, "Hey, no, this is what happened. Grab that person. Why are you saying this about me?" And just control it right there. I mean, with social media, if somebody wants to post something about you, instantly thousands of people are reading this. And how many of those people know you?
Yeah, and they
Maybe
don't care. They're just going to believe
10,
the first
10
thing.
or
There's no
15
damage
people.
control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can't even do damage control then, right? Because now all of a sudden you've got 1,000 people that have a negative idea about you. Like if I said, "Hey, I saw Tony kicking a dog," right?
Hey, easy, easy, easy.
No, I'm just saying, and I posted that up online. Everybody'd be like, "Oh, Tony's a dog hater." He's saying, "Oh, I hate Tony because I love animals." And people don't even know you, and it could be it is a complete lie at this point,
Yeah,
right? But now everybody thinks negative about you, and they'll even start bashing you on your social media thing. I mean, I don't know how kids can figure that out. How do you defend that?
there is no. It's defamation of character at its core.
I understand that it's
Yeah,
completely wrong, but how do you defend that? How do you tell a 15-year
you,
old girl or a
you got to
15
do
year
a
old
viral
boy?
apology or.
It doesn't happen. I mean, all of a sudden
Yeah,
people have this negative, first impression about you, right?
yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about, the pressures of these kids today. Now you have to live with it. And then you'll meet people because there used to be things that happen and you meet people years later and be like, "Oh, aren't you the person that blah blah blah?" Like you didn't even know this person, but you thought negatively of them, right? And that's something that they're going to have to deal with for a long time. I just don't know how you respond to that. How do you deflect that, shield
Like
yourself?
there is no. It's out of your control. There is none. You just have to be so careful, I guess. But it doesn't matter.
Or not care, one or the other, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
Be like Tony, be like, "Oh, well, if I'm not on there, it's not happening."
Right. I think I might go delete all my stuff now. You've convinced me.
You
It's with my whole like positive thing, dude. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
get back to my core and who I am.
yeah. Well, just be positive. Go
Yeah.
online, positive. That's what I do. I've been on the whole time, right? I worked for the state. I was a teacher. I owned a business. I mean, everything I put up there is positive. I would never put up anything negative. And it's funny, like even in the towns, like you should see these people argue with each other. Even on like a local, what do they call it, the patch, like the
Yeah.
Chester patch or the Wallingford patch or this. Someone has something to say, and people all of a sudden they just start arguing online. I'm like, oh my god,
It's called trolling.
it's
People
unbelievable.
just do that for the fun of it. They just say something quick just to get like the whole goal is to get someone else to like stick up for this person to get these two fighting, and you sit
Yeah,
back and watch.
yeah. It happened to me online. I went online. I pulled a card out of a thing that I tried to get a comp for it, see what the card was worth. So I tried to put it up on it was a wrestling card, and on Facebook there's a wrestling group. So I tried to put up, say, "Hey, I just pulled this card. Anybody have any idea what the price is?" And the administrator said he rejected it and said, "You can't ask people for prices." He said, "If you want to sell the card, make a price and put it up there." I'm like, "Well, I don't want to sell the card," but so I said, "Hey, I'm just saying $1,000 on this card because I pulled it and I can't find any other comps. And if you know if it's worth less, or you can just show me some comps, that would be awesome, right? So people didn't get that, like they couldn't read the
They're like
paragraph
$1,000. Yeah, they're
under $1,000. All of a sudden, they're like, "Are you kidding me?" They're like, "If that's worth 1,000, then this card's worth 1,000,000." And it's just like such all this negative stuff. And I was like, "Oh my god!" I just deleted the post. I'm like, "Yeah, I deleted the post." I'm like, "I'm not even gonna." And this past weekend, the administrator puts up on the thing. He's like, "Stop, people, stop. You don't need to be bashing other people for asking questions."
Yeah.
But it's just, and you can't. And even his comment was bashed by 4 or 5 people, or bashing the admin. And I'm
So
like,
funny.
it's just unbelievable. like the people just enjoy this.
Yeah,
Absolutely
it's so
enjoy
funny.
this. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, social media. Where is it going?
I don't know. Hopefully out the door.
No, it's not going anywhere. I mean,
No, we love it.
yeah,
We love it.
yeah. I don't know how we can get our information any faster, but I think we're going to be getting it even faster.
Yeah, it's gonna be blasted into your brain if it isn't already.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what 5G is.
And what we're doing, this is social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, we're bashing it and we're doing it.
yeah, we're bashing social media. We're giving it.
They're gonna ban us.
uh, I do have to say that starting like this podcast has been so easy for me to do. Like literally sitting here and going back and forth with you. I have so much. It's so much fun doing this.
I don't even know if people listen, but I love doing it.
Where people are downloading, people are listening, they're enjoying it. Yeah, I get comments that say they like it. So we keep going. I'm having fun doing it.
That's the thing. I enjoy this. Yeah.
I did my own podcast solo, and you would if you go listen to it, you'll be like, you don't even know it's the same person, because it's so much nicer to have a person sitting across from you, right? That you can bounce things back and forth off of when you're going by yourself. So I just want to say how much I appreciate you.
Thanks,
showing up to the podcast, because it's not easy for those people who do it by themselves. It is not easy at all. And I
be a performer.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I hear like somebody else say, "Oh, so and so can't be here this week. It's going to be a real short episode." I hate doing it alone, right? And I never figured that out until I did my first one alone, and I'm like, wow, it is a lot more difficult just to keep a pace.
And but that's like doing stand-up comedy, and like you got to just keep going, and you got to you can't just stop.
Yeah. So, all right, we're getting down to the end here. You got our life lesson this week?
I do. I got a quote. Helped me through something like 10 years ago, a tough time in my life. It was probably 9 years ago. And I've mentioned that I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything is meant to be. And this quote really helped me. The quote is, "If we want something so badly that the absence of it hurts, there's no way it can come our way." The reason I picked that, the reason I really feel for that, is kind of my belief in athletics and my whole life, where you have to use that positive thinking, to bring that vibrational pull, your vibrational consciousness to what you want. When you're so focused on like, I don't have this and it hurts, then you're so focused on like your vibrational focus is on you don't have it and you're never going to pull it your way. It's really what you want has to be because you love it, because it's, you're just so excited that it's coming your way. And when it's the other way and it's like you're mad that you don't have it and it hurts, then it's the law of attraction and you're not attracting it.
Yeah.
So that helped me through something in my life. And it has every so often from time to time. I hope that helps some people out there. Just change shift your focus. And, if it hurts that you don't have it, do you really want it? What reason do you want it for? Is it for the right reasons? Because I'm telling you, it's not.
And sometimes just putting things out to the universe, right? Just put it out to the universe and see if it comes back to you.
Yeah.
I know. I have a few friends that talk about, when they're looking at one, even with the sports cards, right? Put up, my goal this year is to have this card or that card. and then all of a sudden I'll start seeing later down like they've acquired these cars became available that they acquired them, right? They always talk about just putting it out to the
Law
universe.
of attraction is
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
It is
law of
very
attraction.
real
Yeah, yeah, and always be positive,
and
right?
happy.
So, anything else to add before we close?
That's all I got for this weekend.
All right. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And if you like what you hear, please tell a friend and spread the word. If you have comments, questions, or even a suggestion for a show topic, or just want to reach out and hit us up on social media. If you're on YouTube, comment below, on Instagram at Related Views, or email us at relatedviews@gmail.com. And until next time, be good to yourself and everyone around you. Take care, Tone.
See you again.